Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sonic Robo Blast 2 on the PC. I am One Mile Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are tackling Castle Eggman Zone, which is basically, I think this is around the point where the game actually starts getting really difficult. This is the first difficult booster of the game. And if you guys can't tell, I am actually running this in post-commentary, primarily because of one very, very annoying issue that crept up during my last, well, not my last, when I was recording this session, which is basically my electric went midway through, which means my original footage for this got corrupted, as it does. So basically I had to redo this entire stage, which isn't too big a deal. But I love this area by here, because this just gives me so much Wood Zone vibes. It reminds me of Wood Zone, that cancels Sonic the Hedgehog 2 level. Which kind of makes sense, actually, because a lot of these textures are taken directly from Wood Zone. Like, the leaves on these trees are basically the leaves in the forest. I must be like one of the 5 people on the planet who would notice that, but there we are then, there we are. But yeah, like I said, this is one of the more annoying levels, well, one of the first annoying levels of the game. After this point, all the levels become insanely difficult, and we got a couple of gimmicks introduced to us, including these things. These swingy things, basically we need to hook onto just by standing near them. They will latch onto us, and we'll be able to increase or decrease the speed that they're swinging us. And we need to time the jump button in order to launch ourselves towards victory. And of course, this stage is filled to the brim with bottomless pits, and I love the aesthetics by here. I love the fact that Eggman has a random castle in the middle of the forest, even though castles are more Dr.Wily's territory, but I don't know, I digress. But yeah, you need to take big advantage of those swingy things in order to find hidden collectibles like this, 1-up, and basically to progress. You need to master these things in the short time that you see them, because, well, I died. But you will need to master these things because there is a boss fight coming up that requires you to use these things. You will need to learn... my face! You will need to learn exactly how to manipulate these in order to beat the boss. And even though I'm not really showing much skill with these, I can manipulate them somewhat. I can somewhat do the manipulating. And if you notice, there is a Cortana thing at the bottom left of the screen. I do apologize for that. I don't know how that got there. That's going to disappear halfway through the video, but basically when I was recording, I didn't notice that there was a Windows 10 was sort of seeping into the game itself. So that's kind of a nuisance. And there are a couple of graphical glitches in this level in particular, I've noticed, where like you can see like these swingy things through some walls. You can, for some reason, you get these weird flickering lines whenever you're on treetops, and I don't know what causes that. I think it could just be because this is such an old game and it's running on Windows 10. That's my thoughts on the matter, but I honestly could not tell you what exactly is the cause for that. But be careful in this sequence by here, because this is a particularly mean sequence where we just need to be very careful in trying to balance on the beams. Now there is floor underneath us, but good luck good luck landing on that floor. And if you land on a floor, the difficulty of the level is going to be that much harder, because this stage is just... This is really a stage you're going to want to stay as high as possible in, because there's so many bottomless pits, and staying high, well, that's usually the safest route, you know, folks. Although be careful of this Robin Hood badnik mother sod here, because he will, if you're not quick enough, he will clip you while you're trying to platform up there. And I have died like 3 to 5 times in my initial recording because of that one mook. But yeah, this is a very interesting level, and this is... Jesus Christ, look at the size. I didn't realize the scope of that castle. That's huge. My God. But that is Act 1 done and dusted. And believe it or not, I actually shaved off 3 minutes from my live commentary run, which makes me happy. Because around this point in the game, at least for me, the levels are going to start getting longer and longer. The zones are going to start getting quite long to beat. And that's probably partially because of my own failures, because I am very, very awful at this sort of thing. By the way, be careful of these swinging balls. They're clearly marked where the safety zones are on these bridges, but do not rush, basically. We want to go slow-ish. You want to go fast, but not too fast, though. And this sequence by here reminds me so much of Bowser's castles. I don't know why. I think because I always associate fire in castle with Bowser from the Super Mario series. I don't know if I'm alone with that. And these badniks, right? Those, you see that thingamafucker with the no smoking symbol on his head? Those are the worst badniks in this level. They are nightmares because you can't kill them normally. That was a stupid move. You can't kill them normally. Why can't you kill them normally? Because they act like bumpers. If you try to jump into them, they will just bump you away harmlessly. What you want to do is you're going to need to try and clip the back of them in order to get rid of that shield. And when that happens, they basically go into an angry time mode where they're going to try and, well, they're going to try and hurt you. So be careful of them. Be very wary of them. And one thing I found is they're stuck in the most evil locations they can possibly be stuck in. Like, you'll see those things like on very narrow walkways. You need a platform up. You see them just as you're meant to jump somewhere. They're very, very awfully put. They're very annoying enemies. No. No. Although one thing I want to have to say about the green dudes we've been seeing that shoot arrows occasionally, I had a damn near heart attack when I first saw them. You want to know why? Because they remind me of a certain badnik in Metropolis Zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, for those of you who don't remember Sonic the Hedgehog 2, there's a badnik called a Slicer. Now, that badnik gave me nightmares as a child. You want to know why? You want to know why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. I don't care if you want to know or not. Basically, they off-screen you all the time in that game. They are an absolute nightmare to deal with. I hate that badnik. Fortunately, these Robin Hood swords aren't as bad, but, yeah, you know. Anyway, a bit more of that swingy thing I was on about. Like, you really do need to start mastering that for this zone. It's kind of weird as well, because I don't think those swingy things actually pop up outside of this zone. They're basically a zone gimmick. They're stuck to this one, which surprises me a little bit. But, yeah. Although we do have quite an interesting platforming sequence coming up by here, where we do need to manage the momentum of our jumps in order to make it properly. And you, my friends, that's right, you, the viewers, if you're playing this game, you will hate these sort of platforming sequences come the final level. I kid you not. These things will kill you. Yes, spoiler alert, I already beat the game at this point in the recording, whoop-de-doo. But after this part, the commentary goes back to live. I'm back to blind after this one part, so yeah, you have that to look forward to, you know? And I kid you not, I was actually holding down the roll button, but for some reason it just refused to roll. I don't know why. This game's not perfect, you know? It has its problems. It is a really, really, really fun game, but it has a couple of issues. Primarily, like, the difficulty in the second half gets a bit too much for me personally to handle. Other people might call me a scrub or a pleb or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm a scrub, I'm a pleb. I don't do difficult. Well, actually, I don't mind difficulty. It's just I'm not particularly good at this particular game, so the difficulty's a bit much for me later on. But apart from that, you know, the game's a pretty solid experience. Controls are a little bit wonky, but it's like I've said. I've said this before. I think this, at least I think I said this in a previous part. I think Sega should go and look into this for a type of game design philosophy. Obviously, with a little bit better graphics and much better controls, but this is a style of game I think Sega should take a look at and go in the direction of, personally. It's because it has everything that makes a classic Sonic game good. It has speed, it has the momentum, it has the platforming, physics, I guess. But the level design is a little wonky at parts. Now, if you could adapt this with a full-blown budget, then you can see something really magical coming out of this. At least I can in particular. And I know there's plenty of mods that can improve like visuals and stuff of the game, but that's effort. And it does run on the Doom game engine, so there's only so much you can do with it, you know, with this game engine. The Doom game engine's old. I mean, ID text is put it like this: you won't see a game on the Doom ID Tech game engine right now in this day and age. Or if you do, I'm shocked. You know, by game, I mean a full-blown professional game made by a massive company. You may get an indie game every now and then that does the same thing, but I don't know. Anyways, I do apologize about me pausing, because I had to tab out and sort out that bloody Cortana thing, because I just noticed it at this point, and it's not cool. What can I say? It's not cool. Not cool at all. Oh, my stomach's going. I need to get food soon. But yeah, we do need to be careful by here, because this is very tricky platforming sequence. This is... You basically need to be on the ball with the platforming here to get up here, and there is a bottom route that you can take, but I don't recommend you taking that bottom route. Take this route. Trust me, for the love of God, if you don't want to die, take this route, because the bottom route is an absolute nightmare to traverse. This one isn't much better, but it's easier, because like you see these bookcases with the bumper badniks. Well, in the lower path, you need to deal with those guys, and they sort of twist and turn, the bookcases do, and honestly, it's damn near impossible to get through. I hate that. So, take this route. Trust me on that. Trust me, I'm a professional YouTuber. Nope, I'm not going for that life. That's just silly. See, if you can feel free to go for that life if you want. You're nuts, but you can feel free. That, or you might be such an expert at controlling Sonic, then the blah-de-da. Anyway, this little sequence can be a bit annoying if you're not used to these swingy things. What you need to do is you need to manipulate the momentum of the swingy things in order to go into the upper floors. And then you need to jump and collide with the swingy thing above it, and repeat this for about 3 to 4 floors until you exit this tower. It's quite a neat little platforming challenge. I like it, but it's kind of... I don't know, it kind of bugs me a little because it's you need to be quite precise. Well, actually, it's got a lot of leeway now that I see that jump, but it feels like you need to be precise, I should say, because it's quite clear from that jump that I just did. You don't need to be that precise at all. So, yeah, this could take a couple of minutes, maybe a minute or two. It depends how good you are at the game. Like, my first playthrough, it took me 5 minutes to get through that sequence in the first place. Another good reason why this part got corrupted. Yes, I'm actively looking for good reasons why parts get corrupted, because Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. You will not believe the rage when my electric went off, because my screen just went black, and the only thing you would be able to hear from like 3 doors down the street was, "No!" It's worse than when Darth Vader got created. But anyway, I digress. Moving on, we have to deal with this boss fight by here. And what you basically need to do is you need to manipulate the... Well, you don't need to manipulate anything. You need to just get chased by the ball and chain and try and avoid them as best you can. And wait until you hear the sound effect. Yeah, that sound effect. And see the balls move upwards. When that happens, there is your chance to run around and boop Eggman in the front or the back. Now... You might think, this is a really easy boss fight, is it not? Well, that would be yes. However, there is a second phase to this boss battle. Oh yes. Also, by the way, folks, if you can't tell, I do have, I have set camera controls finally on my character, which makes this so much easier. Trying to do this boss without camera control, that is legitimately hard. But anyway, once you get enough hits on him, he will start to move on up into the sky. Now, how do you deal with him when he's in the sky? Well, you're going to see one of those flippy chain things that we've been manipulating for the past past two acts. And we need to actually spin on those in order to gain the height and basically find a way to boop him when he hits the sky, which he isn't doing quite yet. This is taking a lot longer than I remember. Oh god, run! Gotta go fast! Can't go too slow, otherwise I'll get booped by the spike. There we go, this is the sequence I'm on about. So once he goes into the sky, jump in the center, and Tails can happily try and hit him if he wants. Now this is not that tricky. It looks harder than it is. Basically what you need to do here is time the jump so you don't collide with one of the spike balls. It's honestly easier than it looks, trust me. And trust me, unless you do some stupid thing like that. But if this is it, I'm a pleb. Whoa, gotta go fast, gotta spin around. But that's all she really wrote, and if you need to, use the jump dash to gain a little bit extra distance. That is what I personally recommend. But yeah, overall, I do like this zone. It's a very neat zone. It's a very neat idea. You don't see many castle levels in Sonic. It's a rare level trope. Like, the only... now that I think about it, the only other thing that comes to mind in regards to castles is like, if Sonic and the Black Knight, and the entire game takes place in ye old England, so... At least I assume it's ye old England. It's ye old England land, I suppose. But I digress with that. That is the boss done and dusted. We have defeated Eggman. Simple boss fight. Takes a little bit of attempts to win. And with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And I'll catch you all next time when I go live again. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye!